following the expiration of its ultimatum to the government for immediate implementation of a 200% increase in the consolidated medical salary structure. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has further extended its ultimatum by 2 weeks, with effect from July the 5th, 2023. The doctors are also demanding the upward review of the associated allowances as requested in previous letters on the subject matter, since the current economic realities in the country cannot justify the continued payment as it is at the moment, or any increment below the 200% as demanded. The resident doctors emphasize that they cannot guarantee industrial harmony in the health sector nationwide at the expiration of the further extended ultimatum by July the 19th, if all their demands are not met. The doctors are also demanding the immediate payment of the 2023 Medical Residency Training Fund, MRTF, as contained in the approved 2023 budget, in line with various agreements they reached with the government. First Vice President of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Nnamdi Ezuma, joins me now to speak on the numerous demands from the government and what the next point of action is in the event the ultimatum elapses without concrete results. Dr. Nnamdi Ezuma, thank you very much for joining this live.
Thank you very much.
Well, Doctor, what is new? You guys have been on this matter for more than a year. You keep issuing, ultimatum. Now you are extending the ultimatum. The issues are basically the same. You can take us through the issues, but what gives you the confidence that anything will be different? After all, the former government told you people, you are making difficult demands, unreasonable demands. In fact, the former Minister of Labor and Employment even said many of those demands have been met, and that the NARD is just creating problems. So what is new?
All right, thank you very much once again for the question. You'll recall that sometime in April, we embarked on a 5-day warning strike. And while we were on the strike, a reconciliatory meeting was called under the leadership of the previous Minister of Labor, His Excellency Dr. Chris Ngige. It was a conciliatory meeting where all the relevant stakeholders were present, and most of those demands, just as you've said, were listed out, and timelines were given for some of those things to be achieved. Now, to surprise you to note that this is almost 8 weeks after those timelines have been set, and none of those demands have actually been met. None that was listed out in our ultimatum has actually been met. There's this perception about the resident doctors always, going out and going in for war and all that. But these are the times when we have tried to go around, discuss, move from ministry to ministry to see how we could sort these issues. But at our meeting on the 5th of May, we realized that none of those demands were met. And that was the reason why this ultimatum has been given. And just as you said, these are thick problems that have been ongoing. And it's terrible if at this point we cannot take health as a priority in this nation.
Okay, Doctor, for purposes of clarity, can you take us through some of those demands, item by item? Comments, hazard allowance,
all right,
salary areas.
First on the list is we talked about the issue of brain drain, the fact that we are talking about the one-on-one replacement of health staff. We found out that the bureaucracy in trying to replace health workers when they leave the federal institutions takes about 6 to 8 months to replace them. In the last MOU or last discussion we had, we are saying that when these doctors leave, because we know that brain drain exists, when these doctors leave, the process of replacement should actually be seamless. there's this one-on-one replacement of the medical staff as they leave, because you get to see that even when you visit hospitals, patients tend to have longer waiting time. You see health workers performing the duties of more than 10 people together. So one of the reasons for the ultimatum and the strike then was for a circular to be released on the one-on-one replacement of health workers. This timeline was given for 5th of June. It will interest you to know that up until now, nothing has been done about that. There has been no release of a circular, and we are still having our members breaking down, depression, people going down because of overwork. We also have the Medical Residency Training Fund, which was budgeted for in the last Memorandum of Understanding, was supposed to have been paid for the specialist services and the specialist services rendered at the federal hospitals. But up till now, people have gone for exams, have even gone for update courses in April and May, and then preparing for the next update exams in October and November, and still these monies have not been paid. We're also talking about the skipping arrears owed from 2014, 2016, 2017. We also talked about the hazard allowance, although we know that some members have been paid this hazard allowance, but we still have people that were omitted that have not still been paid the hazard allowance. We also talked about our state institutions, those that have been owed salaries for more than 24 months. You know, different states have been owed salaries, normal salaries, and these also have not been addressed. So these are among the issues that are actually existing, and we feel that they were all signed and addressed in the last Memorandum of Understanding, and up until now, this hasn't been taken care of.
Welcome back to This is Live, the Sunday talk show here on the Arise News channel. Our guest is still the first Vice President of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Nnamdi Ezuma, who is still with us on the program. Dr. Ezuma, thank you very much for staying with us. I was asking you, the Memorandum of Understanding that you referred to was signed with the Buhari administration. All those issues were with that administration. Now you are threatening resident doctors will go on strike by July 19th if demands are not met, and that there will be disruption in the health sector. But your communique issued on July 5. At the same time, is showing appreciation to President Tinubu, to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, to the head of the Civil Service, to permanent secretaries. Isn't that contradictory? Because on one hand, you are saying we have issues, but this new administration has been nice to us. Please, can you help us gain an understanding of that? Why are you congratulating and thanking and appreciating President Tinubu, and at the same time threatening to disrupt the health sector under his watch?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, it's important to note that the government it's a continuum, and the MOU that was signed, the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed by the permanent secretaries who were present in that discussion, reconciliatory meeting. So they are not politicians. They are civil servants who are still in office. So nothing has really changed. You know, it's a government that continued. And so what we did, and I mean, in the wisdom of the last administration, most of those agreements were signed with the presence of the permanent secretaries. And these permanent secretaries are still in office. And we're really talking about issues that can actually be sorted out within days. What we're talking about is one-on-one replacement. The circular on one-on-one replacement should be out. You know, the payment of the 2023 MRTF, which is already budgeted for, should be out. So the fact that we are congratulating the present government, it's only right that we do that. But at the same time, we are also letting them know that there are problems in the health sector, and this must actually be addressed. We're saying that people are breaking down. We're saying that brain drain is real, and these are the things that can be done to ameliorate this present condition that we're having. So it's a continuous government, and we don't see anything wrong in that.
Okay, because government is a continuum, as you pointed out. You will recall the former Minister of Labor and Employment and the former Minister of Health both said, look, that your demands have been met, almost about 90%, and that your association is acting like Oliver Twist. If I recall that Dr. Ngige even said that the Medical Association, the NMA, is on the same page with the federal government of Nigeria, and who are these resident doctors who are making trouble? Okay, you have given an additional 2 weeks ultimatum now. What if the new administration says, well, this is what we met on the ground. This is what the ministries of health and labor and employment have said they did. What will happen? You will disrupt, the health sector, even when the former minister said any doctor that wants to leave, can brain drain. Nigeria will survive.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ruben. But I think we should avoid the semantics and face...
Please go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm hearing you.
Okay.
I'm hearing you.
I think we should avoid this. Okay. I think we should avoid the semantics and actually face what is on ground. We are saying that when you get to the hospitals today, the waiting time for patients is actually prolonged. You see surgeries being cancelled because the doctors are even overworked. In the last 2 weeks, I've had doctors who have collapsed in the theaters. We're saying that we are asking the government to replace doctors, replace those that have left the service, one-on-one replacement. These are issues we are talking about. These are not political issues. These are issues that are germane. These are issues that are clearly affecting the health service delivery. So it's not really about, what we're trying to do is to make the current government know that there is an emergency in the health sector, and this emergency must be addressed. And if it's not addressed, then the National Executive Council meeting, which will be in 2 weeks' time, would have to take a decision as to what direction to go next.
Well, on that note, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Nnamdi Ezuma, for joining us on this Friday Sunday Talk Show. We expect that the matter will be resolved and that there will be no disruption in the health sector, embattled, troubled, as it is already.